We're just going to roll the intro and then get this party started. So everyone wave!
Wave!
2, 3, come on!
Welcome to Business, Bets, and Buddies, the Hounds of Business Fantasy Football League. Join us each week throughout the football season as some of the world's top podcasters discover new businesses, make silly fantasy football bets amongst friends, and promote positivity around the globe. This show could not be possible without the support of Mike King and ESPN Richmond. A special thanks to our sponsors, Caregiving Worldwide, Brilliant Bee Media, and the Walking Tall Movement. How about that intro?
Look at that.
Holy cow.
That's
Where's the applause?
Yeah, thank you, Syya, for creating that amazing introduction for us. It is the first time I got to see it. It's just fantastic. Better than I thought, right, everybody?
Yeah.
Amazing.
So we have about 2 minutes.
Okay.
Go ahead,
Are we
Syya.
supposed to have our app open? Like, I'm really OCD, so like I'm like really getting nervous, you guys. So
That's
I
a
have
yes.
this list,
Yes.
and then I have the app, open, right?
So you can have your separate tab up. You can do it on your phone. You can have an app. You just need to have another screen available.
I have it on my phone. I have
Yeah.
it pulled up. Like, that's all I do, right? Is join
Yep.
draft.
You're in. Yep. So the draft actually will start in about 1 minute and 45 seconds, but we thought it would be advantageous for all of us to just go around the room quickly, introduce ourselves, who we are, why we're here, and what our plans are for the fantasy football season. So I'll go around the room and Soaring Prophets, guys, if you don't mind, let everybody know who you are, where you're from, what you're doing here, and how you plan to beat everybody's butt.
Well, sounds fantastic. You're going to jump in. I see how it is.
I see how it goes. I am going to take precedence here. I'm James, and that's Pat. Go ahead, Pat. Oh, wait.
Wow.
We're Soaring Prophets. I am the kind of the motivation guy. Lost a lot of weight, and just want people to love each other and do right things. And that guy over there, Pat.
Well, that I what more can you pitch than that? So James is underselling us by a mile, and I appreciate it though, pal. But Soaring Prophets is a podcast on LinkedIn, YouTube. We've got all the bases covered when it comes to the social media platforms. And we are out here trying to spread some inspiration and tell people stories. And that's how we came in with these folks today. And proud to be choosing the winning team, I believe, here with the Hounds of Business, the Walking Tall, and this ESPN co-marriage. What are we calling this? How do we want to put this out there? But looking forward to it. And I know Mike, all I can say, pal, is that we've got a little bit of a beef to settle. So we'll be after you all year.
Yeah, well, Mike, that's a challenge. But Dr. Leland, Team Level Up, why don't you introduce yourself, where you're from, what you do, and why you're here, and what you plan to do this season?
Syya made me, you made me, that's why I'm here. Not just kidding. My hand and says, I'm going to beat you up. Not
It's draft time.
I know. I love it. So Level Up Academy is also a podcast in 6 continents, 73 nations and countries. And we just leveled up our subscribers from 36 to 3,100 in 4 months. And I'm very happy with that. And hopefully we'll keep growing. But my mission is leveling up through education and not theory, transferable skills, guys.
Amazing, Dr. Leland. I have a sneaking suspicion you're not letting on your fantasy football skills, so I'm going to keep an eye on you. But Syya and Team Sippy Sip, why don't you introduce who you are, where you're from, what you're doing, and what you plan to do?
Hey, I'm Syya Yasotornrat. Yes, I said that. Founder of Brilliant Bee Media, and I am a proud Walking Tall member. I walk tall every day. Thank you, Walking Tall, for sponsoring this live stream and experiment extraordinaire.
It's not quite an experiment. Some of us know what we're doing, Syya. So
okay, well, I certainly absolutely hella don't, and this is gonna be a real fun activity. So thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, 15 seconds on the first pick.
15 seconds. Well, I have the first pick, so I could control that a little bit. But Miss Raquel Borras, why don't you introduce yourself, who you are, what you do, and where you're at?
That is so mean. Okay, wait. Is it Flores or
B?
Yeah. Okay, so I'm here in sunny San Diego, California. I'm a content creator, social media manager, but my passion project is Rock the Boat, where I want to give back to our youth because I am also a mental health advocate, like a lot of you here on this live. And I have Rock the Boat, our first live event, November 4th, where we're going to have just speakers and activities for at-risk youth teens. So I'm here to rock the boat in all ways. So I'm going to kick all your
amazing. Welcome. And if you guys haven't, if you're not aware, the draft has started. So for those of you that are on auto pick, your picks are now happening. Actually, Raqi, who just spoke, Miss Raquel Borras with a B, you're on the clock. Yeah. And so for those of you that didn't know, your teams have already started. And I, with the first pick, took Justin Jefferson, wide receiver from the Minnesota Vikings, even though I'm not a Vikings fan. And Miss Raquel Flores, it looks as if you went with Jamar Chase from Cincinnati. Seeing as though you already picked, why don't you introduce yourself and who you are and what you do?
So sure thing. My name is Raquel Flores. Happy to have another fellow Raquel on board. I love it. We're gonna be rolling that R quite a bit. But anyhow, so guys, I am a Latina leader, and I focus on uplifting other Latino leaders and just giving them visibility. I work with brands directly and also love all sorts of social media, writing, content creation, and collaboration above anything else. Community is a huge factor for me. And so I love this right here, this camaraderie and getting business done, but still injecting that little fun in there. So I'm so happy to be here, guys.
Yeah, thank you. We're excited to have you. Thank you for all of your help in getting this organized. Let's take a quick look and see where we're at within the draft. It looks like the one participant who's been unable to join us today for the draft, Mr. Mark Reid from Japan, we're having some time zone issues, it seems, and so he might be sleeping as we speak, but he's on auto pick, so we'll learn a little bit more about him throughout the season. But Mr. Geoff Woliner, why don't you introduce yourself, your team, what you do, and what you plan to do this season?
Beautiful. So I got 2 picks until I'm on the clock. You have hit me at the exact right time. I am Geoff Woliner, a comedian who busts balls for a living, but also kind of helps you find the meaning of life in the process, which is awesome. So I wrote a book called The Path to Perfectia. If you're interested in your soul's journey, that's the book for you. I am the host of the 40 Going on 4 podcast to help you reconnect with your inner child, that inner child that you probably lost in a custody battle back in 1994 or something. And my company is called Winning Wit. So if you have a comedy roast coming up, you want to bring the Comedy Central juju to your organization, hit me up, winningwit.com. Let's do it. In the meantime, I have the 9th pick. I'm going to draft Hunter Henry. That's how we do it around here. And I'm going to run a train on this entire league because Hunter Henry.
Listen, I was kidding with you earlier about Hunter Henry. I did contemplate taking him, but I decided to let you have him, Geoff. So good luck on the season with Mr. Hunter Henry. I don't think you'll get too far with him. But nevertheless, Mr. Mike Ashabraner and the Hounds of Business leader, if you don't mind, please introduce yourself, who you are, where you're from, and we'll get to know about you.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I'm happy to be here. My name is Mike Ashabraner, the Redneck Financial Coach and leader of the Hounds of Business. Just excited to get our name out there and get some other strays to the pack. And we're just a community of entrepreneurs, ambitious folks that we love to do big business, but we have big hearts. So we're all about inclusion and helping other people and all boats rising. That's what we're about. So if you're looking for a LinkedIn, social media, a place to fit in, community, hey, you've come to the right place. redneckfinancialcoach.com. Shameless plug. Let's get on with it.
I love it. And, the majority, if not all of us here are actually hounds ourselves. And Mike, I can't just say enough about you and, the guidance you provide many of us and how welcoming you are. And it's great to have this be a Hounds of Business Fantasy Football League. So thank you for working with us on that as well. And Team Sippy Sip, it looks like you're on the clock. I don't know if you know this or not. But you gotta pick your player here, madame.
How do we know who's picked too? I need to be able to cross off.
Oh, here we go. All right. Well, while Syya's trying to figure out how to pick her player, Mr. Ben Currier, if you don't mind introducing yourself, who you are, where you're from, what you do, all that good stuff.
Yeah. So I'm Ben Currier. I'm the world's number 1 failure.
What's up? I think she liked that pick, folks. That looks like a winner.
She is very happy with you.
You can't go back. You can't go back. He's yours now. Who did you
shut the front door, man? I hit the wrong name. Okay, so
Listen,
wait,
Cooper
full
Kupp is a
disclosure.
very good player.
The best
Kupp is
receiver the
really
past
Hey.
3 years.
Yeah, you're okay. You're good.
Wait,
All right,
wait.
Ben, I'm sorry you got cut off.
Wait.
No
but
worries.
It's questionable. He's like injured or some stuff. But okay, sorry. I don't know. Raquel, just real quick. My thing just blanked out, so I don't know what's going on my side, people. Sorry.
Okay.
You didn't hear me say shit either, right?
Yes, we did.
You
And we
just
heard you
did it
say it
again.
again. That's
Yeah,
two
that was
times
twice.
now. All right, Ben.
Monetization.
That's enough.
Yeah.
Why don't you
Yeah.
tell everybody who you are and what you do?
No problem. So I'm the world's #1 failure. So thank you for interrupting. I mean, I fail at everything, including my intros. And this is my first time being on video, but Mark didn't make it. So I beat him there. And then I picked Travis Kelce as my first pick. And I instead of fake it till you make it, I say fail it till you nail it.
I love it. Fail it till you nail it. That's something I've not heard. So thank you for teaching me something today.
Get used to it.
I think I'm the last person to introduce myself, even though I've been going around the room. But my name is Chris Maliszewski. I'm a part of the Walking Tall movement. I'm one of 3 co-founders. We have a podcast and many other initiatives to prove to the world that vulnerability is strength. We are hoping to be the example of trauma turned to triumph. So we are 2 mass shooting survivors and a doctor of psychology, hoping to instill love and approachability and vulnerability into the world. And it's been an honor of ours to sponsor this amazing fantasy football league and to surround ourselves with some of these just awesome people who also are part of our league. So thank you for that. And while we're done with our introductions and whatnot, I thought, we could just kind of open the banter, see where we're at. At this point, it looks as if our last pick was Tony Pollard. So is that you, Geoff? You just went with the the Dallas Cowboys running back. Are you a Cowboy fan?
I'm not a Cowboy fan, but the Cowboys are the greatest fantasy football team of all time and the worst actual football team of all time, which I don't care about tonight.
Well, we have some Texans in the room, don't we?
My first pick was a Chargers.
Yours was, Raqi?
Yeah, I got Eckler. I wanted Eckler, and I got him. I mean, that's my team.
Well, I think that's a great idea. While the draft is, ongoing and things of that sort, why don't we just kind of talk about our favorite football team and why? So, Raqi, you talked about the Chargers. Let everybody know why that's your squad.
Well, the funny thing, the irony is that I'm from San Diego. I wasn't a Chargers fan when I lived here. I was a Houston Oilers fan. Then they went to, Tennessee. And then when they drafted LT and Rivers, then I became a Chargers fan once I was living in Northern Virginia, never a Washington fan. And then now I've stayed loyal, even though they moved to LA. So it's like a very weird thing.
That's like a broken relationship. It's like chasing people
Yes,
around.
I went back.
But you know what the funny thing about the San Diego Chargers is they have one of my favorite NFL fight songs. Do you know it, Raqi? San Diego Superchargers. Okay, now that's my singing attempt.
I can see his face. Wait a minute. What's going on with Syya this pick? What's going on, Syya? You okay?
Yeah, it's Team Sippy Sip. Devontae Adams with the Las Vegas Raiders. They're wideout. Syya, what was that face for?
Oh, look, she done broke the look.
Yeah, she broke the internet.
She's broken.
Well, you talked about Houston, Raquel B, and we also have another Raquel from Houston. Raquel F.
I don't want this.
And it looks like you got a Houston Texans jersey on Raqi. So are you a Texans fan or?
Why is it going on like?
She's so late.
I don't know what's going on.
So late.
Throw a dart. Usually the best way to do it.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm doing.
Raquel Flores with an F. Raquel B talked briefly about Houston. I know you're from Houston wearing a Texans jersey. So are they your squad or what's the story?
I am. Well, I have to rep my local, sports team. Come on now. Even though I must say I'm more of an NCAA person. I love college football. But hey, I gotta rep my town. So Texans it is. Hey.
All right. Well, and you know what? I'm a Texans fan due to last year. For those that don't know, the Chicago Bears and the Houston Texans were fighting to be the worst team in the NFL to get the #1 overall pick. And so Lovie Smith last year was the head coach of the Houston Texans. He was the longtime head coach of the Bears. And all the Texans had to do was lose the last game of the year, and they would get the #1 overall pick, and the Bears would be second. Well, Lovie, being loyal to Chicago as he is and knew he was on his way out, he was not going to be retained as the head coach. So he did everything in his power to make sure that the Texans won the last game of the year to give the Bears the #1 overall pick, which they did. And the Bears got the number 1 overall pick and traded it. But hopefully the Bears are well on their way. And so while I'm speaking about the Chicago Bears, I'll say briefly, that's my favorite team. I grew up in the city of Chicago. I'm actually a Chicago Bears season ticket holder and attend many of the games. I'm actually planning some travel here and there to watch them on the road. So that's why I'm wearing my early 90s Bears vintage Zubaz hat, if you are familiar with that line. So bear down. But Soaring Prophets, you guys don't have the NFL up in Canada. You got the CFL. So please don't let us know of any CFL teams. But let us know who your squad is.
Wow, we keep changing teams' names up here, kind of like the Washington Commanders. We've been doing that of late, so wherever you land on that politically. But for us, I've been a Cleveland Browns fan since I was a little young tyke when I first started playing football myself. And from that, I have had nothing but heartache, misery, failure, desperation on draft days. There's been some TVs that might have been busted and thrown out the window. It's been quite a ride, let me tell you. But as you could see with the first pick today, I went Cleveland Browns to rep the old neighborhood and went with my buddy Nick Chubb. And I'm looking for big things out of him this year. And we'll see what, it's a foregone conclusion. We're going to walk away with this. So.
Whatevs.
Yeah, so for me, the other side of the Soaring Prophets, the good-looking, handsome, terrific side, I'd have to say my favorite musical is Rent. I really enjoy the music. The second favorite musical that I kind of
James. This is what? Football, the gridiron. Like, we're talking men in pads, not men in tights.
Oh, well, Blindside was a really good movie.
Yeah, that was a good movie. Did you hear the controversy over it as of late?
There's a controversy over that right now because he's not too happy.
All right, James, it's clear you know nothing about football. Moving on, Geoff. Why don't you? You talked a little bit about. No, I'm just kidding. Mike, Kentucky doesn't have a team, but I know the Bengals are near, and you have some other squads. You get in the NFL?
No, dude, I'm so bad. People ask me who you think's going to win. I say me. Like me, what the hell are you talking about? They're like, oh, it's football season. So now I actually pay attention sometimes. I'm actually going to pay attention now. We don't have money on this, do we?
Chris,
we will.
Season
against somebody you're playing against.
Chris, pick.
I don't know football, but I know betting. So there'll be lots of betting.
Oh, and I asked who wants to see me crush a chip bag on my head, and only James said do it.
This isn't. Well, we're gonna have to have like a morning tailgate. I think that's an idea in itself. Maybe one of these Sunday mornings before the NFL schedule starts, like for the day, we can have like a tailgate. We can all make our best Bloody Marys and mimosas, and we can grill out in our homes and have hot dogs. What do you think, Mike? You in?
As long as Syya is there, I'm there, buddy.
All right, deal. Dr. Leland, do you have a squad? I know Tom is big into sports. He and I have been texting back and forth, showing each other some of our memorabilia. And
I didn't even know you guys were doing that. I'm like, who are you texting?
Yep. See,
Chris.
He's being faithful. I promise. It's just me. It's only me. So no big deal.
No more buying toys. My house is full of toys, literally. But Chargers is definitely where he wants to go. But I'm just clicking on auto right now for sure. But I want to know, though, why did you pick Justin Jefferson? I actually was studying 10 minutes before I came here. I'm like, okay, so my wide receivers, Justin or AJ. My, running back is going to be what? Who did I put? I think I put Nick Chubb or Damian Price. My quarterback.
That one.
Listen, does it?
And I was like, why did Chris pick? Like, why?
Well, listen, first off, it shouldn't surprise anybody that you're well prepared, right? Like you have notes probably, and you've been reading ESPN. Yeah, exactly. Look at this, right? Of course, the educator comes prepared and was like studying. While the most of us are just like, oh, we're on auto pick. But no, Justin Jefferson, he catches the ball. So our league is a PPR league, which means a points per reception. So anytime a player just simply catches the ball, your team will get a point. So that's why I chose him. Even though I hate the Minnesota Vikings, I don't think Kirk Cousins is any good, and he's the one throwing the ball to him. But I'll take my chances. So.
Yeah, I actually was watching the New York Post from Drew Loft on what points per reception was. I watched the video, and I'm like, oh, okay, I got it.
See, that's exactly walking tall, Dr. Leland. In the spirit of vulnerability, you're showing that you didn't know anything about football. So I'm going to ask everybody else in the room, who here knows nothing about football and was studying as Dr. Leland was? All right. Yeah, I don't think all of you are telling the truth. But Ben, tell us a little bit about your squad. Where are you located? Why are they your jam? Let's get into it.
Yeah, so I'm not super allegiant to anybody. My football knowledge is like 10 years out of date. So I don't know. Is Napoleon Kaufman still playing? That's who I wanted to draft first. But I bet he's still not there because it was the 90s, I think.
I was looking for Walter Payton, so.
So I'm just going for teams I like. I just moved here from Kansas City, so I took Travis Kelce and Mahomes. I just want to be able to root for teams I like. But I'm currently in Boston. I split time between Boston and LA. So I'm a Patriots fan, but I thought for the longest time nobody hated Patriots fans until I moved, and then I realized everyone hates Patriots fans.
Yes. Who here hates the Patriots? Like they've won like for the last 20 years.
I can't because my 22-year-old was born in 2001 and was born out of my womb as a Tom Brady fan.
Oh, perfect.
So he's still obsessed, and I actually took him to the Chargers-Patriots playoff game in 2019, January. I've never been so cold in my entire freaking life.
For sure.
And of course, the Chargers lost, but he was a happy guy.
Yeah, and but we for a long time we didn't win anything, and then Bledsoe got injured, and then Brady came in as a backup, and then everyone hated us after we started winning. So
yeah,
I know both lives. But either way, I'm excited. I don't know anything, so if I win, it's a miracle.
And Syya, are you back with us?
Soaring Prophets, your pick.
Oh, and I'm going Browns again on this one here. I'm going to pick up our Amari Cooper. We're looking for big things this year. We're looking for big things out of Cleveland, out of Ohio.
Lake effect snow is the big thing you're getting this year.
As I understand, Cleveland Browns do well every year.
It's a
That's what God keeps telling me, that the Cleveland Browns are the best team.
There's no way. There's no way. And I thought, it would be fun, as many of us are podcasters and things of that sort. Some of us also have jobs, as it relates to like careers and working in corporate America. But, oftentimes in the workplace, there are these like opportunities to socialize via things like fantasy football. And so we thought it'd also be fun to just have a conversation amongst ourselves, because we do want to be business focused, just to give our experiences into these work pools, right? Some employers or some coworkers, have lottery pools or fantasy football leagues or Super Bowl square, and the list goes on and on. And so I just want to talk about everybody's opinions, some of your experiences, the good, the bad, the ugly, about a little bit of gambling within the workplace, if you will, or having some of these types of interactions on a different level. So Dr. Leyland, if you don't mind, working in education as you do you and your coworkers dabble in any workplace fun, like fantasy football leagues or Super Bowl squares or things of that sort?
No. But when I was in sales, though, they were big in sales. Like all of the ladies and all of the guys, I just partner up with someone who I think knows what they're talking about, because they literally put money in, right? I was like, wait, so how much do I owe if I do this? Like people make $1,200, $2,000. I think at one point I got $500. I have no idea how I got $500, but I did. So then I went over with that guy again, who was my partner that knows what he's talking about. I'm like, okay, I'm betting on whatever you're betting on. But I really didn't know anything about it other than like, you need to pick whichever. So I always ask people. I have a lot of friends who does football. Tom loves football. Baseball is his thing. And then they're just like, what are you doing? I'm like, don't worry about it. Just tell me who's a good quarterback. And I know what they do. I just don't know where they're running and all this 1st and 10 yards right now, but let's just pick them. And then they tell me the reason why. I'm like, no, don't tell me the reason why. Just give me the names. But education, they don't do it. But in sales, when I'm in sales, they definitely do.
Sure. Anybody else? Raqi with a B. How about you? I know.
Sorry, I'm like literally like writing everything down. Like I'm told you I'm super competitive. I'm super OCD.
Look at
so
you.
I'm like really focused. I have someone in the queue. I already have
pick.
I know. It's just like that's. So people think that I'm like a train wreck and a hot mess, but I'm like a very organized hot mess. Tell people.
I don't think you're a hot mess. Why would you say that?
I don't know. I feel like I come across as like a train wreck or like a shit show. I don't know. I feel like that's
like
a
third shit, by the way. Up fourth. That's up. We're just gonna start keeping a count. We're gonna put quarters in the jar for charity.
Oh, oops.
All right. So,
But yeah, so
so
anyways.
in your workplace, tell us a little bit about what you do, if you don't mind. Do you guys have experience in like confidence pools during the NFL season, fantasy leagues, Super Bowl squares?
No, I've been in past like companies where they do huge like Final Four and fantasy leagues. In here, like not many people come to the office, so I'm actually out the office. I think by myself right now. Yeah, so that's why I was like so excited when you guys asked me to be a part of this, because I'm kind of a loser here in San Diego. I don't really have very many friends or anything. So thank you for taking this.
I'm in San Diego. So
Yeah,
you're
friend.
Listen, no, you're
I'm your
not a
friend.
loser. You have friends amongst us.
Yeah.
And,
I know, that's what I'm
and
saying.
here's the
Like
thing-
now I have friends.
And here's the thing, doing a little bit of research on your work, the work you do with kids is just amazing with Rock the Boat. And so
Thank
even if you don't have adult friends, you should know that those kids look up to you, right? And so you have a
Yeah,
whole
yeah.
contingency of friends, maybe just of a different generation. But like Dr. Leland said, she's in San Diego, so you two have to exchange numbers. And maybe you guys can watch some football together this season. Maybe
Raquel, did they drop that case?
What's that?
Did they drop the
What?
case? Are you allowed around children again? How does that work now?
Oh.
Shots fired.
I'll do
Rocky with the
I
B.
just got Keenan Allen too. You
Oh.
guys, I'm really excited.
That was from the Canadian. I'm just
Rocky
saying.
with an F.
Ow.
You obviously do some amazing work in the healthcare industry, have just a fantastic background doing many great things for people. So what about you? Do you guys amongst your coworkers have pools or, gambling opportunities, lottery? I have a great story to tell when it's my turn, but we want to hear about you.
No, I'm pretty lame. Like there's nothing of that going on. I keep to myself.
Listen,
Everyone's
if you
super
were
hard on
lame, we wouldn't have
yourself.
invited you in the league. So
You
please.
guys are amazing. Stop it
Yeah,
right now.
lame.
Stop
Get
saying you suck. You
Get
guys
over
are
it.
all
Nothing?
amazing.
Is this your
No.
first ever fantasy football league?
It sure is. Huh?
All right. Well, we're glad to give you an opportunity to lose. And
Oh,
Syya, it looks like you're back, right? No,
Yeah, she's
Dang
back.
it.
Maybe.
she's
No.
not. All right, Ben, what about you? Obviously you are the world's #1 failure. And so I assume you don't participate in work pools because you're just going to lose anyways. But
So part of my story is I've been fired from every job I've ever had. So 6 for 6. But right now I work for myself, so I don't play with a pool of myself, but I'm playing with all you friendly folks. So I'm excited.
yeah, well, the good news about you working for yourself is if you fire yourself, you would actually earn the real title of the #1 failure. But
That's true. I've come close many times.
you've just given well, don't do that. But what's your take on it, Ben? Like, coworkers gambling amongst each other
Yeah,
or having some
so-
sort of fun outside of the workplace. What's your thoughts on it?
I grew up in Boston, so everyone's pays way too much attention to sports, and you can't even you're way behind the curve, even if you just watch all the games. So I would pretend. That's why I, for a long time, paid attention to pretend. And now I don't have to pretend. Now I can just simply enjoy it without the fear of people coming down on me for it. So I'm excited to win or lose. Either one's on brand.
It's funny. That's the one thing about sports in the workplace, right? In my experience, it could be so. It could bring the work culture together, or it could really break teams apart, And I will say, being in Chicago, as we've had, when the Cubs won the World Series in 2016, or when the Blackhawks were winning all their Stanley Cups, there's a different vibe amongst the workplace. People are happier, people are joyous. It gives that water cooler talk that we're all kind of looking for, right? And so.
Can I say one thing real quick?
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah.
One of the ways I got fired was I was at the World Series where the Red Sox won in 2013. I was at the Game 6 where they won. And then after they won for the first time since 1918 at Fenway, I lit up a joint and a coworker ratted me out for that. So then I moved to Denver where it just got legalized. And that's why I moved to Denver back.
Listen, that's a man who knows his needs, right? But listen, the Red Sox hadn't won the World Series since 1918, and you're celebrating, and a coworker rats you out.
I also asked them. I said, "Is this cool?" And they said, "That's fine." What? Just tell me it's not cool. I wouldn't have done it, but
yeah,
it's still my fault. But still, it's not cool.
Yeah, that's interesting. Obviously, we don't want to promote substance use or abuse here through the league, but there are states that consumption of various substances are legal. And Listen, I'm with you, man. You know, in 2010, when the Blackhawks won their first Stanley Cup in like 100 years, I was celebrating myself too. Like, come on, what do you mean?
I was pretty drunk too, to be fair. But whatever.
Well, why wouldn't you
For
be?
the
Jeff,
fourth pick, you have taken my guy.
all right, Jeff, what about you?
Back to
In your
back.
experience, you're a business owner. Do you allow some kind of, you know, gambling amongst coworkers, friends, fantasy leagues? What's your stance?
Well, it happens to be very fortuitous for me that all my bookies are all my clients. So we tend to work things out in real two-way exchange over here. We're talking about love, brotherhood, unity, magnanimity, grace, all the things that make this human experience beautiful I have with each one of my clients. So I'm not exactly your normal case study, but yeah, let's go with that.
Yeah, but aren't you fearful of your clients like breaking your kneecaps if you don't pay your dues, or, you know, have you ever had that?
Nah, they're Canadian bookies. What am I worried about?
Oh, so James and Patrick. So now he just brought up Canada once again, and so you guys are amazing professionals, super successful, are focused on making money in your show, right? And what's your take on, you know, the office camaraderie with fantasy football or gambling pools, lottery pools? What's your take?
Well, in Canada here, if the government doesn't get a cut, it don't happen. So all of our lotto and gaming and everything like that is all run by the government. We don't. I'm pretty sure if they knew we were running something out of the office, they'd be swooping in with the RCMP on horseback and getting their cut. So unless you are
say on horseback.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, where have you been hiding? The RCMP, the Royal Canadian Mounted Police.
Oh, that's what. Okay, I apologize.
That's our feds, man. Our FBI come in a little bit differently. You guys come in like attack
Ours aren't
choppers.
fast enough to outrun a horse up there, or what?
Wow, yeah, it's the choppers that'll get you.
Oh, okay. Well, so you guys don't really have office pools? It's not common in Canada?
Yes and no. I would say that you'll get the odd group of people. You got to remember that our sports, we watch all the stuff out of the States, but we have our CFL. So the Canadian Football League is kind of popular. I would say that. So the pools, yes, we do. We watch all the United States stuff, but a lot of people are still checking at the CFL because it's all the guys that we kind of grew up with. If you enjoyed football, if you enjoyed sports growing up, those guys made it. It's your neighbor. It's those guys. And little communities like where we're from here, about an hour east of Toronto, Ontario, you'll have guys that are, you know, semi-pro athletes that you grew up with. You guys have the real guys with the Major League Baseball and all that. We have our homies. We have our buddies that we'll have beer with on Friday night and then watch on TV. So it's a little bit small time, but it's kind of what we do up here, and we have a little fun doing it.
Well, you, James, you're the other half of the Soaring Prophets.
I am the other half of the Soaring Prophets.
The
but
much
yeah,
better.
no,
I'm just kidding, Patrick. I think
the way better half. The tech guy and no, I'm just kidding. So I've done the Masters tournament at my company quite a few years in a row. I won twice. Like football, I know absolutely nothing about it, but I just happened to pick the right guy both times, and it was wonderful. We've done hockey pools. Hockey is the biggest sport in Canada, really. So we've done quite a few hockey pools like this, very similar, where you pick your offensive, defensive kind of thing, and you just garner points. And it's a lot of fun. But mostly in Canada, our biggest, office sport is drinking. It really is.
In the
We have real beer.
Wow. Was that Molson or Labatt? What's your preference?
Oh, for me, it's Corona.
All right. Well, that
Corona.
makes no
Corona's
sense.
delicious.
But okay, we'll go with it.
Top shelf gold goose, not gold goose. What's it called? Gray Goose vodka. That is
all right. Mike, what about you?
The
Redneck Financial Coach. What's your take on office pools, gambling amongst friends in the workplace, camaraderie events, things of that sort? Where do you stand?
I don't have a job. I'm over here in Ben's camp, dude. Like, if I got a job today, I get fired today. Like, Ben, where do you live? Down the street? Are we neighbors? What is it? So, yeah, no, I don't do none of that. I wasn't a cool kid. I'm done with real jobs.
Listen, but here's what I'm going to tell you. You don't think you're, work for anybody or what have you, but you have a community under your guys, right? The Hounds of Business community, and you being the leader of that. And so it's got to be, I don't want to say challenging, but it's got to be exciting to be able to get to know all the people within the networking group and, organize things like this. So why don't you talk a little bit about, what you're doing and why things like this are important for the Hounds, maybe more so than like the inter-office gambling pools.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't have a job, but I do have responsibilities, right? And so, leading folks, and this was a good time. Again, I didn't plan on this happening. Us coming together, the Hounds, us coming together on this show, and new folks I don't know. It goes to show you when you practice your kindergarten skills, when you're out there trying to help other people and get people to know, like, and trust you by bringing value. This is good stuff. And so, any team building exercises, I think even companies get twisted where they assume that you have to do a formal thing. Sometimes you just have fun. Sometimes that's what your organization needs, just have some fun. Yeah, there's some benefits to what we're doing today, but what's wrong with having fun? I think all of us work 13-hour days if on a light day. So yeah, if it doesn't kill anybody, it's not highly unethical or anything. Who cares? Have
Yeah.
more fun with each other. We do a lot of work, man, but we have a lot of fun at the same time, and I think that's the key, man. Life's too
100%.
short. I'm old.
Yeah,
I
well,
like
you're not
that.
old, but it's true. And I think, gone are the days of, some of these forced activities. I think, society is changing to where, back in the day, it would be like your company picnic and your company Christmas party and so on and so forth. And those are like cringeworthy, right? Like, we don't want ugly sweater contests in the workplace all the time, right? Like, how cliche can that be? And so it's great when organizations are able to promote, bonding exercises or team building opportunities for their corporations, their businesses, what have you, because you get to know the other folks on a different level, right? Like with the Hounds, we're all trying to network. We're all trying to do business, right? It's the place where business gets done. But we have a lot of fun amongst ourselves in our own way, and it's not contrived. And that's just indicative of this league. That's what we're trying to do. But Syya, are you back with us? No, gosh darn it.
Oh,
Muted. Hey, what about having the purple tongue sauce again that we still have, and with hot wings? And
Well, that's a great point. So we can consider that. We're going to do hopefully, 1 or 2 early morning Sunday tailgates just to kick off the day. And maybe we'll use that hot sauce. I actually ended up buying some of the stout barbecue after that taste test. It was pretty darn good. So if you haven't,
There's nobody in the position of
No.
myself where I will never ever look at
No.
hot sauce the same way after jumping in that little trial with
No.
you people.
There was 24 hours of hell after that.
like for real.
Hello.
yes, she's back. All right, Syya, you missed like 13 questions. So the mic is yours for the next 10 minutes. I'm just kidding. Are you still with us?
I'm on the wrong microphone. Oh my gosh. What's
But
going
we can hear
on?
you, so it's the right one.
No, thank you.
All right. Well, anyways, I'm going to tell a quick story while we're drafting. I'm on the clock here in 3 picks. But when I was in high school, I ran a pizza kitchen at a place called Bill's on Bartlett. And the owner of the bar also owned a place across the border in Wisconsin. And so this was late 90s.
Check, mic, check.
You're back. So
check,
late.
mic, check.
You're
Mic
in.
check.
All right. So anyways, it was late 90s. The Powerball lottery was prominent at the time. However, it was not able to be played in Illinois. And so the bar I worked at had a bunch of regulars. It was a neighborhood joint. And so what they did is they took money for the Powerball because at the time it was the
Mic check.
largest Powerball jackpot in the history of organized lottery. And so Wisconsin was a state it could be played in. And so in Illinois, the bartenders would go back and forth and work, the various establishments. And so what they did is they took money from all the regulars at the bar in order to buy lottery tickets for the largest jackpot in organized history. But instead of combining all the money, you know how most office pools say everybody give $5. If one wins, we all win. That wasn't the case. And so each individual got to buy their own set amount of lottery tickets. It was $190 million, if I recall. So they bought the tickets. Everybody got their envelopes. There was 3 people at the bar who didn't pick theirs up in time after the drawing, and come to find out that the winning lottery ticket was sold at the place that those bartenders bought it. And as the days went on, these envelopes sat behind the bar. Nobody really claimed them until one day the last guy picked it up. Frank Capassi was his name. And in it sat the $190 million lottery ticket. And he was the single winner of the time, the largest lump sum in organized lottery history. And he pulled up to the bar for his press conference in a stretch limo. The guy like barely had a what to piss in. And now he's a millionaire. But yeah, it was crazy. So, and to me, I'm thinking like, gosh, think if everybody just collaborated how much enriched everybody else's lives would be, right? And that's kind of what we're trying to do through the Hounds, or what we're doing here on this stream, if you will, and enriching people's lives and not being selfish.
You said the loud part quiet and the quiet part loud.
Yeah.
You know what to piss in.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. So, all right. Well, it looks like Raqi. Did you just get mad at me, Raqi? F. I just picked. Was that who you wanted?
Yeah, that's who I wanted. Thank you.
Who has Herbert as their QB? I just am curious.
Who's got Justin Herbert?
Oh, it's Raquel. It's Syya. She stole him, I think, on me.
I don't know what I'm doing, you guys. Like, my mic isn't working.
You got my
We're just glad
That's why she drafted Herbert.
Love it.
We're just glad you're
Herbert, you're fine.
I don't have Herbert, you guys. I've got Burrow, Etienne, Hall.
You picked Joe
that
Burrow.
sounds terrible.
See, I gotta let you in on a little secret. Joe Burrow's hurt.
I
Just
told
You
you
hear all the
people.
emotion just come out of her right
Did
now.
you hear how
That was it.
flat the room just got? She was just
Aw.
like, boo. All right,
It's
Geoff.
been due the entire time. I'm like on tech support texting these guys, going, "What the hell is wrong with all of like?"
All right, Geoff. I know it's not
Nope.
football related, but I know a little secret about you. You have an alter ego. He happens to be a baseball fan, and he's a huge Mets fan. Obviously, the Mets are having a terrible season, having just traded all their top pitching and had big aspirations. No different than my White Sox, but we'll talk about that another day. So I would really like it if you would introduce, listeners in the group here to that person, and I would love to hear their take on this fantasy draft.
So it's very simple. His name is Joey. He's Joey the Mets fan, and he's a spiritual guru. He's known as the Sage of Staten Island, and he's here to bring basically the concepts of oneness and unity to the whole world that's divided, and they're looking at each other like I look at my mother-in-law, like she's driving me nuts. She's crazy. She's giving me agita. But we're all here today just to come together and do a draft. Like, look, I'm a Jets fan, in the fall. The Jets are driving me nuts for the Mets, But the Jets are okay too. The Giants, my brother, he hates the Giants. He hates him. He lost him, 10 grand back in the 80s. And we talk about him. But yeah, it's great. It's good to be here. Joey's here with us today. He's always here with us today. He's my spirit guide. He talks to me in my shoulders. Like, get me another beer. I'm like, Joey, not today, all right? I'm in the middle of a draft. Please behave yourself. So that's what's happening right now.
That sounds so amazing. I've been to New York a bunch of times, and I don't know if everybody here in the room is, but let's how did you come up with that? Like, where did that spawn from? How did that come to be? And why do you keep doing it? Did I lose you? I did.
He's taking it.
He's like, man, I gotta keep
Your shoulder is doing it. Tell him.
All right, but listen, Raquel Flores with an F. As he was talking as Joey the Mets fan, it made me think of you and your ability to go from English to Spanish to the other million languages that you know. So what I would like to know is I would like to hear your take on this fantasy football draft in Spanish.
Ay, Dios mío. Bueno, para toda mi gente latina, en este momento, esa es mi primera vez que estoy haciendo esto y literalmente estoy con una ansiedad encima que no sé qué carajo es lo que estoy haciendo. Así es que les invito a todos que nos sigan en los canales de nuestras redes sociales y nuestra página de LinkedIn, a todos estos paneles, a esta gente tan hermosa que está aquí. Los queremos mucho. Muchísimas gracias.
And for those of you that don't know what she just said, she said the Walking Tall Movement football team will win the league, hands down, and she's embarrassed of her draft.
Wait,
is that what you said?
y las Raquel somos las mejores.
Sí, por eso yo también hablo español.
All right, well, Miss
Latinas son
Raquel
las
Borras with a B, rock the boat. I would love to hear your Spanish and what you have to think about this league so far.
No, pues estoy aquí muy intenta de tener un equipo muy bueno y creo que voy a tener un equipo muy bueno. Jalen Hurts es mi quarterback. Me chocan los Eagles, pero es un buen QB, entonces estoy fascinada con eso, pero si no.
Amazing.
She could narrate in Spanish, no joke. Like
somebody's got a pretty bad echo. So if you're not on headphones, make sure you're muted. All right, James and Patrick, that got me thinking about you guys. Can you speak in Canadian? What do you think about the league?
You're killing me.
No, you guys know I love you. Listen, we give you guys crap only because we love you, frankly, and it's just a different accent, and even I myself have been told because I'm from Chicago that I have an accent, so I don't know. What do you think I do, Patrick?
A little bit. You've got that Chicago kind of get me a pizza type little roll off the tip of the tongue there. But all in all, us here, we're all about the boots, right? Cold beer. It's a little different take on life, a little bit slower. But Chicago deep, like a deep crust pizza. Like you can't get it anywhere else in the world. It's the best in the world. And that's it. Portillo's hot dogs.
Dr. Leland, you're on the clock. You know this, right?
Yeah.
All right. James, what about you?
Drafted, no?
I don't want no pressure, but just please hurry up. No, I'm just kidding.
I did. Dude, you don't even look. Look, it's done.
All right. Sippy sip. James, what about you?
I don't know about people, but I do. I don't know about football, but I know about people. And you guys are some of the best people I've ever met. And the more I get to know you people, the better I feel, the better I rise up. You need some help. You go online there, and 30 seconds later, someone's making you feel better about yourself. And I think it's just beautiful. And I think you guys are all beautiful. And I'm glad we're doing this fun little show together. And I promise you, I will learn more about football as we go. And I will be able to actually talk about the teams when we go head to head. And when we actually destroy you all, I will very Canadian-like.
It's no fair.
Not quote.
We got some Charmin in the house. Mike, that means you're up. Speaking of speaking differently or in another language, why don't you talk a little redneck to us and give us your throwdown on the league?
I love it. Let's
and
go.
What your thoughts are about fantasy football.
Yeah. Dude, so one of my friends here said, hey, English is actually my second language. And I'm like, mine too. Right next to American Hillbilly. And y'all thought that was a joke until I started talking to y'all. Like, yeah, it really is. So,
you can
I was making Syya. Y'all can't see this because this is on radio here soon. But I was making Syya a paper swan out of a Kleenex, and she can't even see it. So my thoughts on fantasy football, dude, I'm gonna get crushed. I'm gonna get my hopes up, and then like all my players will just get like dysentery for 5 weeks. And then I'll realize that, and I'll realize that all my players are on the same bye week. So I have like 5 people versus your 12. Yeah, that's kind of what I foresee here, Chris. Maybe it's psychic, buddy.
I'll help you. Listen, I think as we've gotten to know each other, we've come to the revelation that we're two in the same, which is bad for Syya and Raquel Flores. But we have our own fun. So listen, man, I got your back. I'll help you. Now, Ben, a little bit about your accent being from the Northeast and a Boston guy. What's your take on fantasy football? Obviously, you told us how you love to get high at baseball games, but we're here to talk football. And so
it's my favorite pastime. What can I say?
All right, good. Yeah, we'll get along well. But anyways, tell us a little bit about your take.
Yes. So right now I'm picking I'm on the clock, but I'm going to ignore
that. That was my attempt to distract you to take a bad pick. Take a kicker. Take a kicker. This is the round for kickers.
Until I moved away from Boston, I thought people didn't like the Boston accent because I thought it didn't sound that smart. No offense, but like when they say let's go to Bar Harbor in Maine, it's like ba ha ba, ba ha ba. It's just like lacking all sense of smartness in my mind. I think I was raised by TV, so maybe that's why I don't get it as well. But I am going to say that I was surprised how many people wanted me to sound like Marky Mark when I moved out of Boston. So I'm going to make my pick now. Thank you very much.
All right, take your pick. Dr. Leland, gosh, as I've gotten to know you, you have more degrees and abilities than, I have acquired in my entire life plus some. So what about you? Like your fantasy football take, and can you speak any other languages? I'm sure there's probably 10 you can speak. I'd love to hear one of them.
I used to 7, but
now how many is it?
Anymore.
7?
I used to, not anymore because I don't do it anymore because I travel around with my family for textile business all over the world.
Okay.
And so we had to pick languages, but I can speak Tagalog.
You can speak what?
Tagalog, which
all
is
right. Let's hear it. I want to hear your Tagalog take on fantasy football.
Wag mong kunin dito kasi hindi ko alam kung sino ang mga player nila. Kasi kinuha na ni Chris. Kaya tinan mo, siguro gusto niyang mananalo. Pero hindi siya mananalo kasi siyang nagpipick karon. So, kung makinig kayo, mga Pilipino kayo, yan, tinan mo, mandadaya.
Okay. I feel the same about you.
Somebody.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yes, we
can.
Welcome back.
Oh my God.
Did you hear all that? Did you hear what CJ
I
said?
heard that. I
more,
heard it.
Doc.
Okay, all I know is
Thank you.
magandang gabi po. That's all I know.
Oh, good evening, everyone. That's right. Kumusta ka?
All right. So tell us what you were saying, Dr. Leland, please.
I'm talking shit about you. You just, all the Filipinos know now. What's up?
Me? You're talking about me? I have nothing but love for you. What did I ever do?
No, I was just kidding. I actually was saying that I don't know anything about fantasy football, and Chris took over my first one that I drafted.
That's so. You know what? Here's another good, I think topic for discussion for the group. Right? We just kind of all went through our various abilities in speaking and having various accents. What challenges could that pose in business, right? Have any of you ever encountered, a language barrier? I know some of you folks may have, have a hard time understanding Joey the Mets fan, but what kind of impact does that have on business for you? Mike, why don't we go to you? How often do people say, "Dadgummit, can you repeat yourself?" Because I have no idea what's coming out of your mouth. But what kind of experience do you have with that?
People not understanding what comes out of my mouth? Oh, every day, Brad. Oh, like every 5 seconds. But it doesn't stop me because I know, like, I could either really try real hard at getting better, or I could just bring people more value so they put up with me. And guess what I decided to do? Yeah, that's why we're all here.
Yeah, exactly right. And I think too, I think it's more impressive when people are authentic and people are able to be their natural self in business. And so, Mike, I applaud you for wearing that ugly boonie hat every day and trying to sell yourself. I'm just kidding. I think it looks good. No, but Raquel with a B, Borras, obviously you're in your office right now. I don't know if you're working or studying.
Yeah, my colleague just came in.
I saw that. I was going to ask you.
Dancing outside of the conference room, so I was like, just come in.
You have a ringer. That's no fair. You're cheating. But anyways.
No, he literally has no clue. Like, he was like, don't you talk anything.
Why don't you talk about, obviously you so eloquently spoke Spanish. I have no idea what you said, but I'll just assume it was good in nature. But how is your ability to be bilingual helped or hurt you along the way in your career?
Oh my gosh, it's been the best blessing. And I always am so grateful that my mom just taught me. It was technically my first language. So I didn't know that I was learning two languages at the same time. But yeah, so she went ahead and only spoke to us in Spanish. She met my dad in Mexico. So my dad is American, but his background is Russo-Romanian Jew, and my mom's Mexican Catholic. And he went to medical school in Guadalajara because at the time it was during the draft, during the Vietnam War. And so everybody wanted to go to medical school because that's how you got out of the draft. So it was really competitive. He went to University of Pennsylvania, Ivy League, still didn't have the best grades. So he couldn't get accepted in any school in the States. And that's when a lot of people were going to Mexico. And so he actually went to Mexico not knowing any Spanish. And not only did he have to learn it, but all the textbooks in medical school there are in Spanish. So talk about really difficult. And then that's how he met my mom. She was working at a clothing store. He walked in, saw her legs, and then
well, now that's a visual in itself.
Yeah, all right. She was on a ladder, doing something with the clothing. But what's crazy,
Raquel, I'll tell you a story about how you were conceived.
Yeah.
There's a ladder.
That's the thing, is that my mom came from a very conservative, religious. My grandmother was widowed with 4 kids under the age of 5 at 37. So she was very much like a traditional woman and not. But what happened was my dad asked her out, and my grandmother was like, you have to go chaperone. And my mom has a twin sister. So the twin sister went ahead and they did a double date. And then she ended up in the States. And that's how I was born here in the States, was because that he brought her back here. Well, because he was going to medical school in San Antonio, Texas. Or not medical school, but his residency. So he knew Spanish. So that's how it was in the household. We only spoke English to my dad, Spanish to my mom, but we all understood each other. So that was really cool. And it's just been the best thing that my mom's passed down. But I'm embarrassed to say that both my kids, their dad, my ex, is Latino, and my kids don't know any Spanish.
I know Raquel Flores, that's breaking your heart.
Are you the same, Raqi? Like, so we can like commiserate together.
Here's the one thing, obviously I want to give everybody an opportunity to talk, but Raquel Flores with an F, one of the things that, impresses me about bilingual speakers as both of you are, is your ability to like have one sentence, have two languages. Like it's just amazing to me how your minds work and go that way. So how has that benefited you? Obviously being in Houston, there's a huge Latino population. So I got to imagine you've had some successes, but why don't you talk a little bit about that?
Well, speaking more than one language is like, it's awesome in itself, right? But being able to kind of like switch from one to the other es una cosa maravillosa porque es un talento que uno tiene, and just kind of switch back. It's just super amazing. If vamos a hacer português também, se vocês querem, I can do Portuguese too. So it's like, it's a talent. But sometimes it becomes a hindrance when all these languages are up here and you're trying to like make a point across. And sometimes I tell Syya, my English is not very good looking today because I'm thinking, or I'm super tired. And then I'm just like, I cannot talk. I literally cannot talk. I cannot think. But in terms of the value that it brings to my life, of course, just imagine all the places I can travel in the world and I'll be able to, get by. Even though you can get by with basic Spanish in countries, but it's been one of those things that has been life-changing for me, and it's definitely one of the things that I want to pass on to my daughters, knowing the value, especially they're Dominican, Salvadoran, and in this country, of course they have to speak Spanish. Like there's no other way. So yeah.
All right, Syya, she brought you up. Obviously, you own Brilliant Beam Media, and you have a ton of different clients throughout the world, even in Canada and in some other countries I probably don't even know about. So what's been your experience? Can you speak another language? Tell us a little bit about who you are, your background, and what experiences do you have, barriers or successes with bilingual clients or in business in general?
Yeah, no. So can you guys hear me first off?
Yes.
Welcome back.
We're so bad. We missed you the whole show.
I know. Sorry, guys. I've been having massive issues with our platform that we're streaming on, but that's okay. They heard it from me. I dropped a few F-bombs on them. I think that's what they were scared.
Well, we've been saying the S word on this whole show, so what's the difference at this point?
I know, right? Well, look, I'm going to walk tall on this and say, yes, absolutely I speak other languages. Do I speak it well? No. But
well, show off, please. We want to hear and tell us what you're saying. Come on.
Oh, no.
You're not.
So it's like, you know what? Okay, so I say this to everyone all the time. Like, if I try to do an Asian accent, it's like wildly racist sounding if I weren't Asian. Okay, so for me to speak Thai, it'd be like an insult to all Thai people out there. It's
we haven't been canceled in a while.
Yeah.
This is just one show. Let's not get us canceled already, right? So no, I speak Thai, not well. And for Raquel that can like switch between languages, for me, I think it depends. If you have languages that are very similar culture, maybe the root language is similar, I think it can be somewhat fluid to kind of switch between, especially if the cultures are very similar too. For me, going from Thai to English is difficult because the cultures are vastly different. There's some mentality. It's almost like different parts of your brain. Even though there's a language center, there's a lot of that cultural component of it that I think kind of just like it's harder for me to switch. Like it's easier for me to switch from English to Spanish than it is to go from English to Thai. And that's really funny and interesting for me. But yeah, but I do speak Thai, and I think it's I work with international clients, and in my career and when I worked my corporate life, a lot of non-Americans are multilingual. And so it's fascinating. We were in Stockholm for a client, and it was an international sales team that all got together, and we all gabbed, and it was fascinating to watch the Swedish guys switching over to French and English and vice versa, and German and Polish at one point in one group, and some Romanians were in the mix. And I'm just sitting there smiling as an American going, yeah, I speak Merkin, so yeah, it was
Merca, F yeah.
Yeah, and unfortunately there were no Thai people for me to show off, right? So, that
well, I gotta acknowledge we just lost Dr. Leland. She's gonna remain on auto pick for the rest of the show. We have a few rounds left, so we'll be wrapping up shortly, but she has to go teach a class. And so she is a committed, loyal educator. And as much as she wanted to wrap up with us, she was just unable. She had to go mold some young minds. But Geoff, does Joey the Mets fan ever make an appearance in business conversations aside from when you're trying to sell yourself as a comedian?
I wish he did. And that, talk about life goals, man, that needs to happen in the second half of 2023. Joey the Mets fans got to get on the phone with clients. Say, look, here's the deal. You got a roast coming up. You got to write it yourself. It's going to be a disaster. Nobody wants a disaster. You just call us up. We're going to do a roast for you. So otherwise, what are you going to do? You're going to look stupid in front of your clients. You don't want to do that. And I think if I do that enough, I think, who knows? It could be the best year of my life.
Yeah, I think you should definitely answer the phone like that or make some calls to some potential clients as Joey the Mets fan. It'd be a slam dunk. So actually, I got to ask you, does Joey the Mets fan have his own LinkedIn profile?
He needs his own LinkedIn profile.
I think there's an idea in itself. You need to have your own LinkedIn profile for Joey the Mets fan. Mike, do you have your own profile for a redneck?
Yeah.
All right, James and Patrick, obviously being in Canada, you guys, there's French spoken very significantly and many other languages. So what's your experience with the language barriers aside from the abouts and the abouts here with us in the States?
So where we are, not so much. Most people here speak language, although because we're a multicultural melting pot, we're starting to get a lot of nationalities into our area that, so our languages are growing. I myself have like a rudimentary grade 9 French, but I have an interesting story. I went to Montreal, Quebec, which is all French speaking, mostly French speaking. And I was walking down the street and this gentleman, an unhoused gentleman, came up to me and started speaking in French. And I had no idea what he was saying. And I said, I'm really sorry, I don't understand what you're saying. And with perfect English, he looked at me and said, oh, I'm very sorry that you speak English. I was just asking you if you have any money because I'm hungry and I need food. And I went, you speak 2 languages? He's like, yeah, I do.
Wow.
Like,
was he apologizing that you spoke English in general or that you didn't understand him at the
I didn't understand French.
Got
That I was sad enough to not understand what he was saying in French. But no, so a long time ago, I knew sign language, which was great. But I've lost it over the years because I just didn't hang out. When you don't hang out with people that do it, it goes quickly. But in my career, it's come very much in handy when I've been working with children with autism who can't speak. Because you can do like a somatic, like a physical, a hand sign, and you can show them a picture and you can use language. And that 3 bond really helps them to grasp the concept of, say, cookie, fire, or ball, or something like that. So that has really helped. It's fascinating that if you can use multiple different systems of language, even nonverbal systems, how easy it is for people to pick it up. Because after all, that's how children learn. Like young children learn because they're seeing the fridge and you're saying fridge. And the more language you use, the more easier it is for young people to learn. So, I think it's fascinating.
Well, it doesn't surprise me, knowing who you are in one of your earlier statements of just, loving on people, that you also work with children with varying abilities and trying to better their lives. So thank you for all that. That's important work you do. And Patrick, what about you? Being the savvy business guy you are and, having some successes in life, what's your take on the various language barriers, or have you had any experiences where you've encountered, challenges or successes with languages?
Oh, for sure. And again, going back to the way that we do it up here in Canada is a little bit different about the way we do it here in Canada. But I had a food business that I was providing. I had a nursing care business when I was younger, and that rolled off into a food business. We were doing like pre-cooked, pre-done meals delivered to your door. And we were focusing on the fitness industry. We were focusing on seniors, diabetic, that kind of thing. And one of the huge limitations that was kind of brought to that is you have to label everything in French and you have to label everything in English in our country. So when you're doing nutrition labels, you're doing it all bilingually. When you're doing it all, anything in business, you're doing it bilingually. You want to put a website together, you have to have a French diversion to that. So I don't know if you guys have caught this or not, but when it comes to like government, maybe a few of these comments I've kind of poked a little bit. But we've got a lot of government involvement here in Canada when it comes to business. I'm not necessarily a big fan of that, but it is a very real thing here. And with the languages, you have 2 official languages, you have 2 official areas of the country where, in Quebec, it's like James was saying, you can have a homeless guy that's sitting there on the side of the street going, 2 languages. You can drive out in the middle of Saskatoon and nobody says anything, right? East Coast is very French, West Coast and middle of Canada is very English. So where we are in Ontario, we are predominantly English. You drive 3 hours the other way heading towards Ottawa, Ontario, and you can't go in and order a coffee unless you're able to do it bilingually. So it's a bit of a dichotomy.
Wow. Well, listen, you brought up Saskatoon. That's one of the cities that I recognize most in Canada from the movie Slapshot. You all remember that movie?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And you guys ever seen that? It's not a football movie, but it's a hockey-based parody on just so many things, and it's just fantastic. All right, I think I'm on the clock. So, Syya,
who are you taking?
Why don't you, interject here a little bit and bring your fun personality to the conversation? We've missed you. So I'm going to focus on winning the league here for a second, and I'll be back shortly.
So, what's really funny is that I'm like panicking because, things aren't running quite as smoothly as they could today, but that's okay. My boyfriend comes walking in and he gives me this thing, do not draft. And it was just funny to me. He goes, Judy from Denver and Traylon Burks. And the funny thing is, he goes, check the box to exclude them. Both are injured. And I'm like looking at my list, and sure enough, guess what 2 I have? I'm like, oh, never mind.
It's so funny.
So you're going to be wearing the cat outfit downtown Dallas? Is that what you're telling me when you end up losing this pool in a few months?
I like that.
Doing something hilarious downtown? Is that what this is looking like?
Wait, what am I? What were you guys talking about? Because honestly, I missed half this conversation, you guys.
There has to be some sort of punishment for the loser of this. It has to be.
I know.
This seems like a good time to talk that through.
Yeah. I think the last place team should get a Hounds of Business tattoo. What do you think, Mike? That should be the bet.
Oh,
what do you think? Actually, with your silhouette and the boonie hat, I think that would be ideal. Like a Hounds of Business logo with your silhouette, that would be fantastic.
Either get a Hounds of Business tattoo or a tattoo of a butt on your butt. I'm not quite sure if we can use that. Syya, make a note to parse this out of the radio show.
That's not radio appropriate. Get a tattoo of a butt on your butt.
No, could you imagine me in church?
No, it's so funny. So we're nearing the end of our draft. I have one more pick left, so there's 16 picks left. As we get to wrap up, and you folks start making your last picks, just real quick. This has been a lot of fun. I just want to let listeners know that we plan on every Tuesday at 6:00. It won't be the entire group. What we will have is 2 of us, if not a few more, each week discussing our matchup. So as an example, next week, Miss Syya is head-to-head with Mr. Mark Reid from Japan. The plan is to have them host next Tuesday at 6:00 to discuss who they are, potentially bring on some amazing guests, and talk a little smack about the upcoming matchup ahead. So please tune in every Tuesday at 6:00. Obviously, you'll see us here on LinkedIn or many of the other platforms advertising the show. But why don't we go around the room, allow everybody to wrap up, reintroduce yourself, how people can find you. And I want to hear your take on your team because everybody's roster should be about done. So why don't we start with you, Mr. Geoff? Or I'm sorry, Ben. You know what? We didn't even get to you. I'm sorry. Language barriers, Boston accent. I digress. I want to make sure everybody gets their time. So what experience have you
about a little bit?
Boston?
I'm from Salem, Massachusetts, the Witch City, if everyone knows that one.
Ooh, really?
For Halloween time. And I'm from the North Shore, as they say around here, or the North Shore. And I've lived all around. So it's been like 10 years since I've lived here. Right now I'm in Boston, but I'm flying to Kansas City tonight. And I just love having a regionally non-specific accent as much as I can.
Funny. All right. Well, let people know, Ben, who who you are, where they could find you, the business you're in, and what's your takeaway on the season.
For sure. So my podcast is called the Failure Guy Podcast. I've had people like Carol Baskin from Tiger King, William Hung from American Idol, and all sorts of other failure-prone folks. And myself being the world's #1 failure, so I say. And I also teach Microsoft Excel online at excelexposure.com is my website. And I do all sorts of other stuff. I'm a stand-up comedian like Geoff. but I've only been doing it since March, and I've done it maybe 12 times, but most recently in Hollywood, and I'll be doing it again in Hollywood, I think in September or October. Just ask me, because I don't even know.
Dude, I obviously understand your branding is not true, but what you just said there is amazing. Like, I want to talk to you behind the scenes about William Hung. Like, that's so intriguing. Like,
so I failed on brand. I failed to show up at a thing in New Orleans. I was supposed to be in Dentistry's Got Talent, competing against William Hung for this public speaking thing, and it was 30 other people, and I failed to show because I couldn't get a flight. So.
All right, you lived up to your name there. So, see, I know you wanted to say some things. Why don't you let folks know how they could find you, the amazing work Brilliant Beam does? Why don't you talk a little bit about yourself as we end?
Yeah, sure. No, funny fact. I know William Hung as well from the podcast world. So a few times at Podcast Movement. Nice guy. He is what you think he is.
Wait, are you going to Podfest? Is anybody going to Podfest?
I'm actually consulting for the Healthcare Amplified. So I will be at Podfest the day before, and we'll be at Podfest for sure.
I'm doing a Pecha Kucha speech, and I might be emceeing. We'll see.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, we definitely need to catch up. Brilliant Beam Media is all thing digital content for social media. Businesses focused. We are not consumer. We're actually more business to business focused, predominantly on LinkedIn. You can always reach us. When I say us, it's largely because we have a collaboration with Mike, that guy at the bottom there on my screen, and Raquel. So they are integral as part of our social media team. So if you have any questions, if you want to learn how to put social media strategy with your business, we can help you for that.
Wait, is this William Hung, the She Bangs guy?
Yeah, She Bangs. Okay,
there's an echo again, but nevertheless, I just wanted to say thank you for all your work in ensuring that this goes off without a hitch as best as possible, and obviously sponsoring the league in general. So thanks for everything you're doing. Brilliant Beam is just fantastic, and I value it tremendously. And I think we all should wish Syya a belated birthday, because it was her birthday yesterday, and 21 is fun. So Syya, happy belated birthday. But Soaring Prophets, why don't you wrap up? I'm about to make my last pick, Mr. Irrelevant, as they call him, the last pick in every draft. But Soaring Prophets, tell everybody who you are, where they could find you, and what you plan to do this season.
So we are Soaring Prophets. Oh, we always do this. We are Soaring Prophets.
Go in alphabetical order. That's the best way to decide. James first, or just going into the show, like Patrick, you go first this time, and then I'll go second.
We kind of do. So we just get so excited when we talk because we always want to interject our questions because we come at things from different angles. He comes from it from a business side. I come from a mentor kind of self-improvement side. We do an interview every Thursday night where we interview exciting, interesting people that are changing the world, much like Chris above me and Mike below me. Actually, Raquel over to the right. And Syya,
all of us,
just wonderful people that are out there changing the world, walking the walk, and we love having them on the show. I also do my own little running videos where I kind of give my insight into how you should look at your life and how you should treat yourself, which is you should always treat yourself the way you would treat your best friend. If you're talking to your best friend, you would never talk to them the way you talk to yourself. So talk to yourself like you're your best friend, because you are. Enjoy.
Love it.
Look at
all right, Patrick, you're up.
Well, and like James said, our goal here is to tell people stories. And I think we've had most of you folks on the podcast and got a little inspiration, a little peek behind the curtain, if you will, about what motivates you folks and brings you back to the table every day. And that's what Soaring Prophets is all about. And the Hounds and the beautiful Syya and Raquel have brought us on here and kind of piggybacked us along to where we are today. And I thank you guys. Chris with Walking Tall, amazing stuff, dude. We love doing what you guys are doing. And these new guys that we're meeting here today for the first time. So check us out. We are on YouTube. We are on LinkedIn. We are on all the things, Instagram, TikTok, all of them. Like, subscribe, and share for us. Soaring Prophets with a PROPH. But we are a little bit prophetic in our way of garnering profits and with the business take. So I appreciate you guys having us tonight.
Yeah, and having been a guest on your show, you guys are just the utmost professionals and have the greatest of intentions. And so thanks for all the work you're doing in the world to bring stories to life. No different than you, Geoff, with your own story. Tell us a little bit about who you are, where we could find you, and what you plan to do this season.
Yes, sir. I'm a guy who found God through comedy. Simple as that. And I'm here to help everybody else do the exact same thing. So if you are looking to bring some humor to your organization for a holiday party, you want to roast an executive, or just have a lot of fun with your industry, give us a shout. winningwit.com. That is winningwit.com. If you're looking for a book to take you back home to your own soul, or something super, super reverent, I mean, really irreverent like that, knock yourself out. The Path to Perfectia on Amazon. I wrote it. I think it's all right. I think you might like it too. And connect with me on LinkedIn and follow the show. 40 going on 4. We are on LinkedIn and on YouTube. So if you're middle-aged, you got a bad back, got an existential crisis, tends to happen this time again, check us out. Find your inner child. Make it happen.
I need it after the last 14 months or so. I'm going to find that inner child and check it out. So, Mike, obviously our fearless leader within the Hounds. You're still gathering all the strays, as we call them, but tell us, a little bit about where people could find you, your work, and what you plan to do this season.
Man, it's a pleasure being here, man. Thank you, Chris, ladies, Syya, everyone, man, even the boots section over here from Canada. Y'all are amazing. And this is, I wanted to make friends. I had no idea I was going to have this many winners making me look good. So thank you guys. Love, you guys have a heart for people. And that's why you have a business, so you can help people through that business do good things. So, hey, redneckfinancialcoach.com, Mike Ashabraner. I really like helping entrepreneurs and small business owners not get their financial ass handed to them, because if you're in transition from a job to a business, it's not that hard. You could get in trouble, right? So I kind of help people with that, but more so, I help them even earn more money through the Hounds of Business community pack of all these people. I mean, gosh, that speaks for itself. So if you like any of these people, go to redneckfinancialcoach.com. There's links on there to inquiry about the Hounds of Business. And if you're a stray, hey, welcome home. You found your pack. We do mean business here, but we have big hearts and we love helping others.
Yeah, no, you walk the walk, Mike. So thanks for all that. And it's been just exciting for me to get to know everybody through the Hounds, and obviously now Geoff and Ben and Miss Raquel with a B. Getting to know you and all the fun stuff you guys do. So why don't you introduce, wrap up Raquel B with a B. Tell folks where they could find you, what you do, and are you happy with your team?
You can find me on LinkedIn or Instagram, and I have a full-time job, but I'm focused on my passion project right now, Rock the Boat, giving back to our youth. Just I myself had suffered from depression and attempted suicide while I was in college, so I can relate to our youth and how they're struggling with a lot with mental health. And so for me, it's about giving back. And so based on my YouTube channel, Rock the Boat, where I've had 67 conversations with kids of all ages all around the world, I'm now bringing it to life November 4th here in San Diego, California. So for at-risk youth, 13 to 17. And I'm hoping to be able to duplicate those events in every community in every city in the country. And so that's where I'm at. And I'm really happy with my team, you guys. Like, I think I have a real
Of course you are, because you had your coworker helping you pick. Who you kidding?
No, he came out. He did come in at the end. I was like, do I pick a defense now? But my defense is not that great. But
no, but could we call you Raqi? Is that a better?
Yeah. Raqi.
So let's do it that. We should have established that at the start of the show. Raqi, I want to just say one thing. Thank you for sharing a bit of your story. We're better for having you here, and we're glad that your attempt wasn't successful. And, you've learned through it and are working to help others. So that's just a great example. You may not know much about Walking Tall, but you're certainly doing that. And Raquel Flores with an F, second to last. Obviously, we heard a little bit about from you today, but tell us who you are, where you can be found, and all the work you do.
Thank you. Well, I live on LinkedIn. Y'all see me everywhere on LinkedIn, just because I just love it. I love this platform, and I love how it really brings people together. That's one of the main things I actually came on this platform for, was to meet individuals, inspire one another, and uplift one another. My journey to fight for my education and fight for the right to actually go after my dreams is what empowers me each day to wake up and really look at my daughter's eyes and say, okay, I'm here for you guys. You see what I'm talking about?
I love it.
I didn't cut anything today. But so y'all can find me on LinkedIn, connect with me. I'm all about, uplifting leaders, about collaboration, community. Those are essential things for me in my heart, and I love it. And all these people that you see here, that's what drives like once, to each other. So, but anyways, let me mute myself.
Well, I hope she's okay. I hope she's all right. So I guess I'm the last
moment
one
of the show.
Yeah, I guess I'm the last one. My name is Chris Maliszewski. Once again, I'm a co-founder of what's called the Walking Tall movement. My other two co-founders, Todd Blyleven and Dr. Vanetta LaRosa, have started a mental health movement where our mission is to inspire all of humanity to be more approachable, vulnerable, and to walk tall in their lives. It's based on Todd's and my experiences of having been in mass shootings and doing some what we think are extraordinary things throughout that day. And now we're working to promote vulnerability being strength. And so it's been just an honor to sponsor this organized outfit and work together to be the commissioner and get to know each and every one of you. But this has just been a heck of a lot of fun. I can't wait for, yeah, look at that.
Take it off.
That's what's up.
We got some,
but
we got some
listen,
horse flies in here. This big horse fly. You see this? Hey,
yeah. Well, listen, this has just been a lot of fun. I absolutely love my team. As I said earlier, I plan to go undefeated. I will hold no mercy, and I'm sorry I'm not sorry. But as we wrap up, I just want to say I love each and every one of you. I'm looking forward to the season. We're going to have a lot of fun. And Syya always yells at me if I don't make others say those two words. So Syya, should we end on a walk tall, you think, or is that a little cheesy?
I think we need to.
All right, everybody.
100%.
So if you don't know, we are the Walking Tall podcast. We have a website, walkingtallmovement.com. There you can find a wealth of mental health resources, videos. We've had our first season. We're well on our way to doing what we hope are some inspiring things. And if we can help just one person, we're a success. So on that note, thanks everybody for joining us. Look forward to the fun throughout the season. Hope you enjoy your fantasy football leagues, wherever they may be. And I guess I'll give a countdown because there's a lot of us. So we'll just say in 3, 2, 1. Walk tall.
Walk tall.
Walk tall.
Peace.
This show would not be possible without the support of Mike King and ESPN Radio. A special thanks to our sponsors, Caregiving Worldwide at caregivingworldwide.com, Brilliant Beam Media at brilliantbeammedia.com, and the Walking Tall Movement at walkingtallmovement.com. Walk tall.